Hi, friends, on this Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. I'm Jason Shapiro, crowdmarketreport.com. So today was clearly dominated on the news flow count with the Fed and Powell and all that. And I don't really know what the conclusion was. I've heard a bunch of different analysis on this, and everybody seems pretty confused. And who seems the most confused, quite frankly, is Powell, just like the rest of us. The uncertainty has gone up, clearly, because of the large changes that are being made under the new administration between tariffs and all the other stuff. And that increases the range of uncertainty for sure. And you could hear that from him. His uncertainty range has gone up as well. So no big surprise there. I guess in general, it seemed like maybe overall more dovish than anything else. That seemed to be the market reaction. The stock market certainly ripped post-Powell and then kind of came off and gave most of that back. Not all of it, but most of it. And bonds clearly went up post-Powell as well. I mean, the Fed was here, right here, the low on bonds. And then Powell started speaking here. And the bonds just kept going up. And with that, with U.S. rates going lower, the dollar went down. Now, the dollar was horrible today, for me, at least, because what I am in is I'm short yen. And my contention has been that with the huge one-sided positioning in yen, that if you were to, and the way that it's been trading as a risk-off asset, meaning it goes up when things like stocks go down, if you wanted to try and play the bounce in stocks, the best way to do it was to short yen. And up until 2 o'clock today, that's been great. The yen started going down before the stock market started rebounding, and it went down as the stock market was rebounding. And it was even staying down most of the time, even when the stock market was kind of going down. So it has been phenomenal, and not phenomenal, but it's been good. And the tape has been good, and that all changed at 2 o'clock today. And I can't really, for the life of me, figure out why that is. Like, I get it, okay? If you're going to say it was dovish with Powell today and therefore the dollar was going to go down and therefore the yen up, that's fine. But the euro went up, but nowhere near as much as the yen. The euro even closed negative on the day, right? Same thing with all of the other currencies, right? So why the yen was the strongest one when that is the most crowded long trade is beyond me. You know, I really can't come up with any explanations for that other than the market is always trying to screw me as much as possible, and that's kind of what it did. Am I crying about a 20 pip move in yen? I guess I am. It's nothing that's going to kill me, but it was just surprising that that's what happened. Again, the yen went up, that's fine, but why did it go up more than everything else? I can't for the life of me figure that out, other than like what I said. So that was sort of the shocker today, unfortunately. Everything else, gold continues on its merry way. And I will say the COT has kept me out of trying to short this move. As you have seen, speculators have, rather than chase the move higher, have actually sold into the move higher, which means it won't get crowded, which means I don't get a sell signal. And, a lot of people out there contrarian are looking at price, saying, oh, it's on new highs, it's a sell. Oh, everybody I know is talking about gold, therefore it's a sell. Well, the positioning has indicated that that's not the case, and that has been a good avoid there because gold keeps going, as, by the way, does copper. I mean, look at this copper move. It's pretty phenomenal. We're right back to highs here. And I'm sure those remember when we shorted this thing around here and wrote it down. You can see here's where they were massively long, and we got short that and kind of covered it down here when they got more neutral. But we're right back to those highs now. So, in other words, this was just a trade. It meant nothing for where copper is going eventually. It was just a trade that lasted a couple months and was good. And once it was over, it was over. With this yen trade, seems to be in a little bit of trouble here. But, it's the same thing. It takes out the high. Hey, I'm stopped. Just like any other trade. Happens all the time, unfortunately. But the idea is to keep it small, obviously, and keep the winners big. And that's what we try to do. We try to get into these situations where the possibility of a big winner versus a small loser, So if it's one of the small losers, I have been actually as I've been saying almost all consistently for the last 3 months, I have been trading much smaller than my usual size because this is an environment that I just don't think is one that really I'm comfortable in because of the massive changes that are going on geopolitically and economically. I don't think it's like anything I've seen before. I don't think it's anything the markets have seen before. So I think the adjustments can be very volatile and very sort of out of the blue type of stuff. And I don't want to lose money in an environment that I'm not familiar with. All my stuff has been back tested and live tested for the last 25 years. And none of those tests can cover this kind of environment. So you can't expect that those tests would do a good job of capturing this because this has never really happened before. So therefore I've been small. So anyway, and I would continue to have people think about that idea of trying to stay small here. I'll say that with the stock market, you keep hearing these words, tradable bounce. Okay. You don't hear anybody say bottom. You don't hear anybody say we're taking out all-time highs. So I feel like if it is in fact a tradable bounce, as is typical, it will probably bounce a lot more than people think it's going to bounce, which doesn't totally rule out all-time highs. The positioning does not support that at all, but the positioning is not be all and end all. The positioning just helps us to determine a high risk reward trade. It doesn't necessarily predict where things are going to be going. So I would keep that in mind, but we'll see. Today was certainly more positive than anything for the stock market. But we've been going, there's been very little follow through anywhere, even through this whole down thing, we barely had 2 down days in a row, so very hard to trade that, which is why I continue to think, keep it small. All right. And then, just to follow through on Bitcoin also went up today, which it should have done. We had a risk on day. Bitcoin is a risk on asset until proven otherwise. And so it went up on a risk on day. So, good for Bitcoin. And that's really it. That's what I saw today. Still a difficult environment, at least for me. The yen thing today was just, most days I can come on here and I can make some sort of explanation for the move or whatever. I can't explain that at all, which scares me. When the market does something that doesn't make sense, it's tough to fight that. But let's see if it follows through tomorrow. Let's see what happens from there, and we'll deal with it from there. So that's really it. I hope that helps. Please like the video if you liked it. Please check us out, crowdedmarketreport.com. Hi, I just wanted to say, if you like these daily videos, we do them 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, for people, and it costs, $10 a month. And I try to include a lot of other lessons as I go through, as you see in the daily videos as well. For that $10 a month, you also get our COT charts on equity indices and crypto. So if you think that's worth it, give it a shot. All right. And we hope to see you there. Thanks.